Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Lee. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video today. Now today we're back with a swimwear brand that I've reviewed a few times on this channel, and that is Berlook. And at this point I have really come to rely on Berlook for like very high quality, thick, nice feeling swimsuits. Like they just feel much more high quality and better built than things that you might get from more discount swimwear brands. I have a few styles in particular that I have absolutely loved from them in the past, even though they're things I wouldn't typically wear, like this little gingham string bikini. Absolutely so cute. One of the cutest bikinis I've ever tried. I've also loved a lot of their one pieces, and I do feel like a lot of their one pieces are really where they shine. Like they have some really unique styles, things that are really different, but then also with their bikinis and one pieces, they have a lot of patterns that are really unique and different as well. So today, Berlook was kind enough to send over a bunch of different swimsuits, also a couple of different cover-up options, which I have not tried their cover-up, so I'm excited to give a couple of them a try. And I figured today we will give them all a try. We'll see how they look, how they feel, which ones I might recommend or not. And like always, when we do these videos, you will be able to find the exact pieces that I'm wearing in the order I'm wearing them down in the description box. So I'll mention the name of each piece, what size I got, what color I got, and then also I'll include a link to it in case you want to check it out yourself or find more information. All of that will be down in the description box. Now, in general at Berlook, I get a size large in everything. Looking at their size chart, you'll be able to see, I would say things fit around one size smaller than most American retailers do. So as an example, I usually wear a US medium or a US size 10. In Berlook, that translates to a large. Now they do also carry plus size swimwear, and they do have a lot of the same styles kind of across both plus size and standard sizes. So if you are looking for plus sizes, I would just encourage you to check out the plus size section for swimwear, and they do have a lot of very cute styles. And with that, we have lots of swimsuits to look at today, so let's jump right into it with our first cover-up. Now obviously we have like a one-piece situation underneath this, but this was my first time trying a cover-up from Berlook. Like I mentioned, I do have a completely different style as well that we'll take a look at, but you can see this one is obviously quite long. It is almost touching the floor for me, and it is open in the front, and it just kind of has these two ties. When you're putting this on, you are essentially putting your arms into the armholes and then tying it at the front, kind of like a vest. The fabric on this is this fairly sheer little lace fabric. I think that that's very cute. Now, obviously, this is not the type of cover-up that you would be able to put on by itself over a swimsuit and like go to a restaurant. Most restaurants will want something that's at least like an actual dress or is fully closed in some way. Like I've gotten away with open front ones and just like added a belt or something to like keep it closed in the middle. So just keep that in mind, that you probably would not be able to get away with this unless you threw on some like shorts or capris or something under here. But I do think that it looks very cute, and if you just want something that maybe you're gonna go spend a day at the pool or the beach, something you can throw on to kind of cover your bum, make you feel like a little bit more covered up when you're walking around, I think that this could be a good option for that. And of course, you don't have to tie this up if you don't want to. You could more so just leave it open, and I do think that it looks very cute, but you'll have to let me know how you feel about it. Next up, we have our first one-piece option of the day, which is this little black and white one piece. I thought this looked very cute on the website. I think it looks even cuter in person, I'm not going to lie. I love the little white accents, especially these ones on the leg. I think that it looks really cute, and I think it gives the illusion of a much higher cut leg than what this actually has. Sometimes things that are very high cut, while I love how they look, don't get me wrong, I love something super high cut, it can make the crotch area a little bit narrower and make them a little bit riskier to wear. This is actually like a full width bottom, and it's not super high cut, but it still looks like it, so your legs still look a little bit elongated. I think that it looks really cute, and it still is coming up just high enough so it's not digging into that place where your leg like meets your hip. There's nothing nothing worse to me than a swimsuit that cuts like straight across here. I just find them so uncomfortable when you're walking around. Now this little belt is also fully removable. So you can choose to wear this or not. It's just like a little extra stretchy belt that you throw on over top. It is also adjustable. So you can make this a little bit tighter if needed, a little bit looser. And I kind of find that it just wants to sit on me at my true waist. And I think that that looks fine. I think it's really cute. Now this does have some removable padding in it, which is nice. And I wouldn't say it necessarily has like support in the sense of having like a built-in shelf bra or wiring or anything. But all of the fabrics at Berlook are this like very thick, very sturdy feeling fabric. It's not like that usual flimsy swimsuit fabric that you might get at somewhere cheaper. So all of them do kind of feel like they have enough force kind of like pressing on your chest that it does have a little bit of support. Things aren't just in free fall, if that makes sense. And then this does have the little thin straps on it, and those straps are adjustable as well, which is great. And then this is actually like a fairly full coverage bottom, but once again, with those little extra white pieces, I do think that it gives a little bit of almost an illusion that it's cheekier than it is. I think that it's very, very cute. It definitely has a very like retro vibe. I am picturing this with like some black chunky sunglasses and like a wide brim floppy hat. Super chic looking, super cute. And it looks and feels like a super classy one-piece swimsuit. Like you could wear this absolutely anywhere. It's not inappropriate in any way, but it also looks very cute. So definitely a keeper for me. I'll certainly be bringing this on any like family-friendly vacations that I go on because I think it is absolutely perfect for that. All right, next up we have another thing that I think Berlook does very, very well, which is teeny tiny bikinis. If you have watched this channel for any length of time, you will know I am not always super comfortable or confident in this style. I would say today I am the opposite of feeling good and confident in this because my period literally started yesterday. So I'm feeling a little puffier, a little more bloated than I usually would. I don't feel like this looks great. However, that doesn't make it a bad swimsuit. And I think that this is something that, as I have reviewed so much stuff on this channel, there's a lot of stuff that just because I don't necessarily love how it looks on me in the moment, that doesn't make it bad or not good or not worthy of a review. And this is a great example of that. Berlook sells tons of these little teeny tiny swimsuits. If that is a style that you love, you can get them in a million different patterns. This time we have this pink and red rose pattern. I actually love that. And the top of this, I also actually love. So this has an underwire in it, coming all the way up in the center, all the way around. And I think things look incredible on the top. I have a ton of lift in this, a ton of support. This feels like a super supportive bra. Like I could wear this all day long, no back pain, no shoulder pain. I like this little cutout in the center. I think that that's cute. The straps on this are thick enough that I would not have to worry about them digging into my shoulders. The back on this, you basically just like slot it in and then push it flat. And it also does have adjustable straps. And then the bottom of this is obviously where I'm feeling a little bit less comfortable. It's obviously very, very, very low rise, super low rise. It is actually like a decently full coverage at the back, like a traditional bikini coverage. It's really just the front that I'm not loving. And once again, I'm feeling like extra bloated and squishy. And I just feel like I would want something that comes up at least slightly higher than this in the front. It always just makes me feel a little bit nervous. I know that a lot of people love this style and would love something even a little bit smaller and skimpier. But just know it's not necessarily my style, but it is still a really nice, thick, comfortable feeling swimsuit, as long as you like something that is super, super minimal along the bottom. All right, next up we have this leopard print one-piece situation. That is one of the types that when you pick it up, you're like, huh, how's that gonna work? Because it is pretty much completely backless. So super, super plunging at the back, fairly plunging in the front, also pretty high cut on the legs. Definitely a lot of like really, once again, kind of retro throwback elements to this one. Anytime I try on a swimsuit like this, like some one piece that's kind of lower cut in the back, I always think like Baywatch for some reason. Like that's just my first thought. Now this one is also like a sparkly lurex style fabric. So super, super sparkly, shiny shiny, not scratchy at all. In fact, it is like super, super soft, stretchy, comfortable, absolutely no scratching. And if you know me, I'm very sensitive to anything scratchy. This is not. Super, super soft, which is always a nice little bonus because I'm always really afraid when I get things that are this like sparkly shiny that it's going to be scratchy on the arms. Now this suit does not have any, once again, traditional chest support. So like a little shelf bra or something. This one, your boobs are very much just in here, but you can kind of like pull them wherever you want them to go. And because the whole suit is kind of like just tight everywhere, they will kind of stay there. This one also does not have any padding in it, so your nips would probably show through a little bit. However, it is also such a loud, busy pattern that I don't know that people would necessarily notice that. But you could always, of course, wear some like little pasties or something under here if you were afraid of them showing through. The leg on this one, once again, fairly high cut, but still enough like width in the crotch that I don't feel like I'm at risk of anything popping out, which is nice. Nice wide straps on this one, and then you have that super low back. And this one is obviously a lot more cheeky than some of the previous versions. I think with this one you can kind of play with the coverage on the bottom and how high it comes on the legs a bit as well. Like depending on your torso length, you could probably even pull this down a little bit lower if you didn't want it to be like quite so high cut on the legs. Because this is essentially just a super, super stretchy like leotard almost, you can definitely like pull it down lower on the legs, pull it down lower on the bum if you wanted more coverage. I just think that where it wants to sit on me is just like a little bit cheekier, a little higher cut, and I think that that looks really cute. All right, next up we have another little cover up option. This time we have this red crochet dress, and I thought this was absolutely gorgeous. So this one is more of like a midi length, hitting me essentially like right above the ankles. Obviously like fairly bodycon, which looks quite nice. Also pretty sheer. It doesn't look as sheer as it probably would because I'm wearing like a red matching bathing suit underneath. Obviously quite tight across the back as well. And then the front has this little kind of cutout with these little almost like coin charms across the front, which I think is quite cute. And I really like this. I don't know 100% if I would wear it all the time with like a red suit underneath specifically. I think it would also look okay with other colors underneath, but the red definitely looks very matchy-matchy, looks really cute. And this is also quite comfortable. Obviously it's sheer, so a bit harder to wear as like a regular outfit thing, but I do think with the right like nude underwear or a specific color like a bright red, you could probably just wear this as a dress as well. And I think that for like a vacation, maybe you're going out with your girlfriends, it could be very, very cute. Definitely like that. And then of course we'll talk about the little swimsuit I had on under there. So this is another bikini style, obviously. This time one of their high waist bikinis. I would say they don't carry as many high rise like two-piece sets as they do low rise, but they do have them if you're interested. So this one, obviously the bottom quite high, comes up right to the belly button. This is just a fairly standard little bottom. It does have this panel on the side that's just like slightly different. And then I would consider this one to be pretty much like a full coverage bottom. So if that's something that you're looking for, just like a full coverage bottom to match one of your tops that you get from Berlook, you can get them. And then this top is quite interesting. So it obviously has this little cutout here, and this is wire. So that will actually stay that way no matter your chest size, which is nice. This does not have any like, once again, specific support in it. However, this one does have a tie-up back. So you can kind of tie this as tight as needed to make sure that things are really like strapped down. And this feels very, very secure, super high support for me, simply because I have it tied tight enough that everything is like really sitting in place. And I would actually just in general recommend this kind of like tie back suit if you're somebody that usually struggles with needing more support or feeling like you're just going to like splash out of every single swimsuit that you try. Something like this, you can get something that like will actually fit the front part of your chest perfectly and then kind of just ruche it and tie it as tight as you need. I find they usually work really, really well well for me. And in general, I do think that the red color on this looks really cute. I would say if I had like a gripe to pick with anything about this swimsuit, it's actually about the seams on the bottoms. I just feel like they are a little bit thick. So anything that you wear this underneath, you'll be able to see the seams poking out. I also am finding that the seam wants to like flip under. So instead of sitting flat, the underside of it wants to kind of like flip out and be showing, which once again is just creating some like extra lumps and bumps for whatever you're wearing this underneath when you're like going to and from the beach. All right, and lastly, but certainly not least, we have another little one-piece option. This time it is cream and brown. I feel like I have been seeing so many like cream and brown together pieces lately, especially as we're heading into fall. However, it's not usually something that I would think of for like swimwear, but I wanted to give it a try. And unfortunately, I feel like of every single swimsuit we tried today, this is probably the one that works for me the least, which is crazy. So the top on this does not have any support or anything. And unfortunately, despite tightening the straps pretty well as far as they can go, I just can't quite get this tight enough to the point that it would actually like support my chest. So instead, it's kind of just slipping down off my shoulders, pulling apart, and I would definitely get like a nip slip or something in this, 100%. No way that I could actually wear it like in the water or doing any activities. I do think that visually it looks cute, but it's just not super wearable for me and like my body type, unfortunately. Now it does have this little tie to kind of tie this entire center portion together. I think that that looks cute. And once again, I think the whole suit looks cute, but I would need some way to like hold these tighter and like maybe press them together in the back so that it doesn't just want to slip apart and like eventually my entire boob pops out. And from the back, you can see it is essentially just a square back with adjustable straps protruding off of it. This one, once again, is a fairly full coverage, so if you do want something a bit more full coverage, this could be good for that. But unfortunately, if you have a larger chest, I do think that you will probably struggle with this style. To be honest, even if you had a pretty small chest, I would be nervous unless you have pretty wide shoulders and are a little more wide set apart, that this is just going to like continue sliding sideways and eventually you're gonna have some slippage. But once again, it does look very cute. I just think it doesn't work the best for me. And with that, those are all of the different suits and cover-ups that I'm trying from Berlook today. Definitely be sure to let me know down in the comments which was your favorite. I think my favorite has to be that first black one. I know a bunch of people are gonna say the tiny skimpy bikini. It's just not for me. I would love it on anybody else. I just know I would be too uncomfortable to realistically wear that in public. But that black one, I know I will wear. I can think of so many situations where it will be perfect. And I also absolutely adored the little red cover-up crochet dress situation, but definitely let me know your thoughts. And like always, thank you so much for watching this video today. Huge thank you to Berlook as well for sending over the suits. It's always really fun to try them on. I hope that you have a fabulous week and that I'll see you next time. Bye!